The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, and get $100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by the NBA Gambling Podcast MLK Day Bingo Boards. $100 gift card for every bingo hit. Details exclusively on the SGPN app. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Monday, January 16th, here on MLK Day. And joining me here to break down the betting card, you guys know him as the villain. He's high off of his Giants spanking the Vikings yesterday. It's a big week for the Giants. It's a big week at SGPN headquarters, I'll tell you that much. It's the villain, Terrell Furman Jr. Oh, Delonte too. I'll get to Delonte in a second. Terrell, how you feeling, my man?
Oh, I like to say that I thought that we'd never be here, but I knew we'd exactly be here. I knew this is 100% the moment that was going to happen. I told people for weeks after we lost to Minnesota, they sealed their fate with destiny. You know, it's sometimes in life that you do things and you know that it's going to come back around to you. You're just waiting for it to happen. And we knew after Joseph hit a career-long 61-yarder in Minnesota to beat us in the regular season that this was coming back all full circle to this moment. And the best part, that the last play of the game, the player that we couldn't guard, hypothetically, caught the ball 6 yards short of the line of game and was wrapped up and tackled. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I just don't know what to tell you. It doesn't get any better than that. And now you get a trip to Philadelphia, where they beat you twice this season, demolished you at home, embarrassed you in front of your own fans. And you get to go to Philadelphia for a playoff game against 0-1 Jalen Hurts, who has never won a playoff game in his career. Oh, man. I just and the only thing that made the day better is that yesterday I ate off of Kenyon Martin Jr. over points prop. I ate completely off of Vucevic's points prop yesterday. I ate off the Bulls getting a money line win against the who was it? The Warriors yesterday. Mm-hmm. I mean, yesterday was just a great day. How was you guys' day? I want to hear how your day was, because my day was amazing.
I'm gonna get to Delonte here. Also joining us on this MLK day is Delonte. Delonte's also sporting the New York Giants gear there. Delonte, I didn't know you were a Giants fan too, my man.
Yeah, man. I'm a Giants fan since I don't know how long, man, but we've been through a lot of pain with these head coaches that were trash, and now we finally got a real head coach who actually knows how to coach football and is getting the most out of like one of the worst rosters in the NFL. So, you know, just
did you see that block by Kenny Golladay? Did you see that block? That's a $70 million block right there. That's a $70 million block right there.
Block
if I'm gonna pay $70 million for a block, I want the block look just like that.
And he looked happy doing it. He actually looked happy doing it.
From now on, that's how you block.
Yep. Yeah,
man. I hope my next wide receiver could block just like that.
I didn't have as good of a day as Real had, but overall pretty good. We won on the Lakers last night, even though they should have won that game. I'm pretty sure we'll get into that later. Everything else, just pretty blah. Pretty much of a wash of a day. I got smacked on NFL totals. Everything went over. I bet a lot of others.
Yeah, everything did go over, at least in NFL. But yeah, congrats to you guys on the playoff win. Huge week going up against the division rival in Philly.
Job's not finished.
Yeah, job's definitely not finished right now. But
I don't think so. Job not finished.
What's there to smile about, right? But yeah, it'll be an interesting week here at SGPN as we get closer and closer to the divisional round in the NFL. But hey, we're here to talk about the NBA today, MLK Day, here in the United States. Guys, I'll briefly wanted to touch on. I think we kind of forget about, just because it's, it is MLK Day, that it's all about sports, but I think sometimes we forget about the legacy and the impact that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did have in this country. Terrell, briefly, if you want to touch on anything about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. there, and then we can get into the games.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows how much he meant to the community, how much he meant to the Black community, just America as a whole. And, this is a time that you can sit here and reflect and do some service towards your community. I mean, that's what he was all about. He was all about servicing the community. Now, how he ended up having to service the community was to help fight racial inequality, because that's the times that they were in. But he was all about the community. So that's, if you want to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, that's how you do it. You go outside and service your community for a day, like help somebody out, do something, pay for the person behind you in line, like show other people you care, passion, compassionate love. Like, you never know what somebody else is going through. And so that's how we do it in my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. We always, every year, Martin Luther King Day, we go out and do service. And that's how we show some love and respect for Dr. Martin Luther King, who did a lot for the community and the Atlanta area. And we'll talk about that more when we get to Atlanta's game tonight.
Yep. Delonte, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just piggybacking off of what Rail said, pretty much just being able to fulfill his vision and seeing everybody together as one, no matter color, gender, or any sort, just coming together as one is what he wanted, what he ultimately wanted. And I think he'd be happy to see some of the things that are going on in the world with everybody being united, especially after certain things like the Hamlin situation brought a lot of people together. It's sad that that had to happen for us to come together as much as we should, but if more people come together like that, the world will be a better place. But I think he'll be happy as to what he sees going forward. And a lot of sports, especially the NBA, does a good job of reflecting and reminding the younger generation who didn't get as much knowledge on Martin Luther King as maybe some of us did, especially with me and Real going to HBCU. Getting to know, deeper into some of the civil rights things that went on and some of the things he had to go through to get his dream fulfilled. So yeah, man, I think NBA does a great job of enlightening people while also celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah, I think when we talk about MLK Day, that it's all about sports sometimes for people, but we also sometimes forget what the impact that Martin Luther King Jr. had in, like Terrell said, in America, in the South, in the Atlanta area, and things like that. So I think before we even get to talk about sports here, I think it was a good time to kind of sit back and kind of reflect what he meant to to not only the Black community but also the United States, like you guys mentioned. So yeah, keep that in mind when you are watching these games, about the impact that he did have in this country. Guys, we can quickly recap what we saw, anything over the weekend. I'm not sure if you guys saw the human highlight reel dunk by Ja Morant. It finally happened. We've seen all the highlight big dunks that he's attempted, but unfortunately, Jalen Smith was a victim of a poster for Ja Morant. But anything
Did
else
you see the tweet though? It was a tweet that had, before that game came out, and it was like Ja has a poster on every team, and it was like the Pacers were the last team, and then next thing you know, you see Jalen Smith just get absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was hilarious. I was like, what are the odds of that?
It's crazy.
Yeah, that was funny. John pointing out the kind of go back to Martin Luther King Jr. here. He said, "Letter from a Birmingham jail is one of the great American texts, a must read." Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. I have not read that myself.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Question.
Terrell, anything else from the weekend?
Question. No. So I feel like this is a very important question. I mean, we're getting away from Martin Luther King a little bit, but I feel like it's a very important question.
Yeah.
Would you rather get dunked on or dropped?
I'd rather get dunked on.
Yeah, I'd rather get dunked on too. Like it's one thing to get dropped and the guy stares at you and then he knocks out that jumper too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
a 2-for-1 special.
Down.
See, I've been having this conversation with some buddies of mine for a long time, and they're probably one of them's probably listening to this and laughing because I actually brought this up on the show. But they would rather get dropped than get dunked on, and they were showing like the posters and stuff like that. But I'm like, man, I don't know, because I could feel better if I get dunked on, because 9 times out of 10, if I get dunked on, I was coming over for help. You lost your man, and that's really why I got dunked on. So it's really not my fault. But if I get dropped, it's like, dog, you looked at me. You told me you were going one way and went the other. Like, you put me on the ground. But at least I was coming over trying to be a good teammate.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'd rather get dunked on 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, I feel like I would rather get dunked on than dropped.
Yeah, see, I'm like
Chris
5 foot.
Chris Paul got dropped and he got turned into a meme for a year.
Exactly.
Yeah, like he and Drake were in the same meme. Like that's
so
how bad it was.
So many people get dunked on in the NBA. It's just like whatever. Like
and it's like I mean, because like Jared Allen gets dunked on all the time, but you don't think he's any less of Jared Allen?
Yeah, a lot of the great shot blockers say if you didn't get dunked on a lot, you weren't a good shot blocker because that means you weren't contesting a lot of shots. Like Mutombo, Olajuwon, some of those guys. They got dunked on. They were some of the best.
Great point. If you still got to make the shot if you drop me. If you miss the shot and you drop me, then like it just doesn't matter. But the dunk, like I'd rather get dropped, man.
As many times Hakeem got dunked on, he's still the you still have a banner in Toyota Center where he has the most blocks. Right?
I'd rather get dropped. Absolutely. Jake said, as a guy that's dropped a few people, I'd rather get dunked on.
All right, Jake. Jake was a baller. All right,
I ain't know Jake had handles.
All right, Jason Williams. All right, over here. All right. Anything else, guys, before we get into the games here?
Nah, we can go. We wasted enough time.
Joker game winner last night was pretty good.
Oh yeah. I mean, look,
it was against the Magic.
Yeah, Magic covered though. I had the Magic.
So I feel like a game winner is better when you're. I feel like a game winner is better when it's a dog. Like if you're a minus 500 favorite, I'm not interested in you hitting a game winner. Like you should never been in that position. I'm only interested in game winners when it's a dog.
Yeah, it's just seriously, like
Joker had no excitement when he shot it. What was it? It was a game this weekend. Oh, it was freaking Temple versus who did Temple play? I can't remember who Temple played. Memphis. It was Temple versus Memphis. And Memphis hit like a game winner. And it was like, and one of these sports betting companies, whatever, tweeted Memphis at def minus 240 money line cash. And I'm like, boo, boring. Like it's so much better if you have a last second shot and it's an underdog because it's like, oh, he just cashed a plus 300 plus like no, I'm not interested in game.
It's just funny seeing Joker
you're a 10-point favorite and you hit a game winner. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's dive into the schedule here for today. We got games kicking off at, I believe it's 1 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. But the first game on the schedule here today, it's going to be the Boston Celtics in Charlotte to take on the Hornets, a 1 p.m. Eastern start. Looking at the opening lines for this game, currently see that Boston opened up as an 8-point road favorite here. That number has pretty much stayed the course at -8. Total opened up at 231.5. That number's also pretty much stayed at 230 at 1.5. Starting to see some 231.5 out there as well. Checking the injury report for Boston, Jaylen Brown is going to be out for this game for the Celtics, and we know Gallinari is going to be out for the year. And Derek White, he left the game in their last game, at least with an injury, but he is probable here this afternoon for the Celtics. For the Hornets, Gordon Hayward is doubtful, and Kelly Oubre Jr. continues to recover from the left-hand surgery that he had a couple weeks ago. Delonte, let me start with you on this game. Boston Celtics laying 8 points in Charlotte against the Hornets.
Yeah, I mean, we just seen the game Saturday. Boston won and covered pretty easily. They had a big third quarter. They held Charlotte to 40 total points in the second half. They scored 34 and 32 in the first and second, so ramped up the defense on those guys. Both teams shot 45+% from the field, which is pretty much unusual for Charlotte being at their bottom 5 in pretty much all shooting metrics. But I won't have a play on it. I'll play some player props. But I mean, I don't see Charlotte having a path to success in stopping Boston. Boston's on a 6-game winning streak. They've won 4 straight on the road. Still a well-oiled machine when it comes to offense. Defensively, as I brought up, they stifled the Hornets offense, hold them to 40 points in the second half. Tatum's playing extremely well. And I mean, Charlotte's in the wrong direction. 6-22 versus the Eastern Conference. They've been outscored by 6.7 points per game. Charlotte is just in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. I just will be looking to fade them, even though it's about the same number. Um, both teams had a day off. I think that favors the better team. So I'll probably lay it with Boston. I won't be on it, but if I had to, I'd probably lay Boston.
Yeah, it's the third matchup this season already between these two teams. Boston has won back on November earlier. I think actually last week, like Delonte was mentioning, their 122-106 victory for the Boston Celtics in Charlotte. In both those games, the Boston Celtics have combined to knock down 43 of their 105 3-point attempts in those games. Terrell, Boston at Charlotte, what do you like about this game?
Yeah, I think I'm really not too interested on a side or total on this one, but if I had to play something, I think I'd probably just play Charlotte.
Okay.
And it's just more the fact that Charlotte's lost the last four straight, but hasn't covered the last 3 games, and looking for a little bit of a get right spot for them. And you have the immediate rematch, like you talked about a little bit. You have the immediate rematch. I always tend to lean to the other team, so not really interested in this side because I just think that Charlotte is a bad team, even though it's a good spot and things are favoring Charlotte. Charlotte's a bad team, like at the end of the day. So a lot of things need to go right for them to be able to be in this game. Now, last time out, Derek White left early. That opened the door for Malcolm Brogdon, who went out there and scored 30. So if White back in the lineup, I think that you're not going to get 30 from Brogdon again. You're probably not going to get the same efficiency that he had. And it depends on what Derek White shows up, because Derek White can come up there and be a flamethrower. Derek White can go in there and be 0 for 9. And then next thing you look up, he's got like 2 points and half the game is over. So Derek White can be a hindrance. Like, he's been a very streaky guy, up and down guy. And so that alone in itself, that production with no Jaylen Brown in this game and not knowing if I'm getting another 30 from another player, it makes me question Boston in this spot. So I'll take Charlotte. I'll take the points with Charlotte. Seeing some sharp money come in on Charlotte as well, I think it's pretty decent side in this one.
Yeah, as much as I want to get there with Charlotte, I just think that on paper right now that the Boston Celtics are the better team. Like, this Charlotte team just doesn't play any defense. And I mean, we've seen that in the first 2 games where they've given up 120 plus points to the Boston Celtics, and they've been able to knock down their 3-point shots here. So I know Jaylen Brown's not playing this game. I think one player in particular, we'll get to props here in a second, that should shine. A couple guys, other guys should step up, whether it's, like Terrell mentioned, whether it's Brogdon, whether it's Derek White, whether it's Marcus Smart, who's going to step up. I think that him, of course, get his, because there's nobody on this roster that can guard Jason Tatum, which is who's going to be that second or third guy that's going to step up for Boston here tonight. But again, consistently, they've knocked down their 3-point shots against the Charlotte Hornets. Terrell, any thoughts on the total here that's currently sitting at 231?
Yeah, if I had to play on total, I'd probably. And what this last one come in at? 122.
The last 2 games this season.
128.
Yeah, 128 and then 245 earlier. But Boston dropped 140 in that game.
Yeah, it's still Charlotte. Charlotte's really bad defensively. I'll just go over. I was gonna get cute and go under, but I'll just call it over.
Delonte, thoughts on the total?
Yeah, if I had to, I would play it over. If you want to play anything as far as totals go, I would just play Boston's team total over. You get more comfort in knowing that Boston's gonna keep their foot on the gas. Deep team. There'll be if it's a blowout scenario, some of those guys that are like 6, 7, and 8, or 7, 8, and 9 on the roster still are capable of putting up some points. So I would lean to the Boston Celtics team total over versus the full game.
All right. Let's get to some player props here, if any. Lonzo, why don't you lead us off with player props?
I'll go back to what usually works for me in Hornets games. Mason Plumlee over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's been over 7 of the last 8 games. Now he does pose a problem with Charlotte not being able to play a lot of big bodies, but he's still able to be out on the floor and switch on to bigger players. So I like him over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Terry Rozier He hasn't been shooting the ball as well as of late, but he's at 21 in his previous 2 games. His point prop is at 21.5 right now. And then also his threes made just kind of correlated. If he has a good night shooting, he's going to be shooting a lot of threes. So it's 2.5 is his 3-point mark. He's went over 5 of the last 7. So those are a few that I like in this game. As far as the Celtics, I mean, it's hard to do anything with Celtics because I mean they spread it out a lot. Other than Tatum, I mean, some of those guys like Marcus Smart can have a good night, Brogdon can have a good night. You never know where it's coming from. The only thing that I would look at is just some plus money on a Tatum double-double. He's been rebounding the ball extremely well. So that's all I got for that game.
The one double-double I do like in this game is going to be actually Marcus Smart, like you mentioned. There are 2 games.
Oh, you dickhead. I knew you was gonna say it too. It's fine. I got another player prop. I knew you was going.
We can agree on the same one. It'll just give our listeners more confidence to take it.
It's okay. We can agree, but you can give out that one. I have another player prop I can give out.
All right. I'll make it quick. Marcus Smart, 2 games this season against the Charlotte Hornets. He's had a double-double, 13 and 12, assists, 22 and 15. And then I think 4 games without Jaylen Brown in the lineup this season. Marcus Smart has had a double-double in all 4 of those games. So I think I see that price currently at plus 260. So I would get on that double-double. And I agree about Mason Plumlee with you as well. If you want to only take his rebounds or take PRA like Delonte mentioned there. Terrell, what do you got outside of Marcus Smart?
Yeah, it was Marcus Smart assist over 8.5. That was what I was going to give out. You said it all. You can even go back a little further, 12, 10, 15, 10, go to last season, 4, 12. Like he's had a double-double in 5 of the last 6 games that Jaylen Brown hasn't played in. Yep. And so correlated with that, if he has the ball in his hand to get more assists, well, he's going to have more turnovers. So we're going to go Marcus Smart over 2.5 turnovers at plus 140. And you look at the last few games that he's been without 2 turnovers, 4 turnovers, 3 turnovers, 1 turnover, 6 turnovers, 3 turnovers, 0 turnovers, 4 turnovers, 3 turnovers, 4 turnovers. So you're looking at 7 in the last 10 that he's played without Jaylen Brown. He's gotten over this number in turnovers. I think it's a good spot. I think it's a good opportunity. I expect for this game to have a lot of pace in it. Playing against the Hornets, I expect to see mistakes because you're looking past the team. You just beat this team the other day. So I expect them to look past this team a little bit, make some easy mistakes, turn the ball over a little bit. Maybe if a ball goes flying out of bounds, I'll take Marcus Smart over 2.5 turnovers at plus 140.
All right. Any other player props?
Stuff like that.
All right. Let's get over to the next game of the afternoon. It is going to be, let's go over to Milwaukee. Indiana in Milwaukee here to take on the Milwaukee Bucks here. This is going to be a 2:30 Eastern time start. Looking at the opening lines for this game, Bucks opened up as a 10.5 point favorite. That number has now been bet down to minus 9.5. Total opened up at 226. That number's been steamed up all the way to 233 in this game. Looking at the injury report for the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Haliburton is going to be out for this game. Daniel Tice is also out. Miles Turner is questionable here today for the Indiana Pacers, and Bataze is also questionable here with a non-COVID related illness. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis is probable. Drew Holiday is probable. Chris Middleton is out for this game. So is Joe Ingles, and Bobby Portis also probable. So probable tag for Giannis, Drew Holiday, and Bobby Portis. Officially out, Chris Middleton, Joe Ingles, and Serge Ibaka. Terrell, let me start with you on the Pacers at the Bucks here. What are you thinking about this game as the Milwaukee Bucks are a 9.5 point favorite at home?
Man, the Bucks. I think the Bucks are just going through a little bit of a rough patch right now and just kind of figuring things out. They lost, was this 2 games against the Heat? I don't think Giannis played. Well, Giannis played in one of those games, I think.
I think he missed both. I think in the last game.
No, I think he did miss both. Yeah, he missed both.
He missed both.
He missed the last.
Yeah, so no Giannis in those 2 games. I think that this is a good spot for them to come back, put things kind of together, right the ship a little bit. My concern for the Pacers is who consistently can go create their own shot without Tyrese Haliburton. So they play a lot of good team basketball for majority of the game. And then you get into the fourth quarter, and when it gets to closer to crunch time, when it's really time to talk about covering a spread, they have issues of people going out there to go get their own shot. And the only person that really can truly do it and do it effectively is Ben Mathurin. And Buddy Hield, sometimes he dribbles and he creates. Other times, you just want him more as a spot up shooter. And Nembhard has had some issues of getting inside the paint and be able to score inside the paint. So I think because of all of that, and just because I don't know who's going to be that other guy, like who's going to be that other guy to help create and get his own shot rather than relying on this team basketball where you're playing the Bucks, who play really, really good team defense, especially at home. I think this is a spot where Milwaukee can route. So I'll take Milwaukee minus 9.5.
Delonte, what do you got for this game?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in line with what Real said. I think Giannis will be ready to go. He hasn't played since I'm about to say July. He hasn't played since January the 11th, so he's going to be refreshed. And the last time he did play, only had 7 points. He did have that, a lot of rebounds and assists, but his scoring was down. So I think he'll come out refreshed and he'll put up 35 or 40. Like the thing with Indiana is like Real mentioned, like without Halliburton, they don't have guys who can set up other guys. Their scorers are more so, catch and shoot guys, or they wait for Halliburton to be able to put them in position. They don't have the ability to be able to create for themselves. Mathurin he's getting better at it. He wasn't that big of a creator. Even when he was at Arizona, he was more so flowing in the offense, and the guards would get him the ball. But he has done a better job of being able to be a creator. Nembhard could step up and be that guy. Just haven't seen it quite yet. I'm not sure if he's ready for that big of a role, especially playing how Halliburton, not to the level of Halliburton, but at least just getting players involved and being able to control the offense and run it a certain way. So yeah, I'm with Real. Milwaukee, they are in a little bit of a funk, but that could be just due to fluctuating lineups. I don't know why the total got bid up. Honestly, the under seems like a better play. I don't think if Indiana's having trouble without Halliburton, not going to be able to score on one of the better defenses in the NBA. So I don't see where that's coming from. 3 of the last 5 have went under for both teams. Some of the stats are kind of with Halliburton stats, so it's not going to do any good to read them off. But I think this is a smash spot for Milwaukee, so I would lay the points with them as well.
Yeah, I think this is, Giannis has been struggling scoring the basketball for the Milwaukee Bucks. But I don't know, maybe that's why they kind of gave him a couple of days off. I know he's also dealing with a sore knee, but last season against the Indiana Pacers, he did go off for 50. So, maybe if you want to take some Giannis props here. But, yeah, I think I do you guys nailed the handicap here, pretty much took the words out of my mouth, so I won't waste more time on it. But I do like the Bucks here laying the points. I think, with Jrue Holiday, the guy that can, we've seen time and time again that can slow down the opposing team's point guard. And now, without Tyrese Halliburton, like you guys mentioned, to set up the offense or have an extra guy that can, or the guy that can get to the basket, create his own shot. If Jrue Holiday is shutting down your next guy, who's going to be the next guy to step up? So I think this is going to be a tough game for the Indiana Pacers to put up points here. So I'll lay the points here with the Bucks here as well. Delonte, on the total, what do you like, over under?
Yeah, I like under. Both teams been playing well to the under. Milwaukee, although they've been struggling offensively, defensively is something that they really hang their hat on. They've allowed under 110 points in 3 of the last 5. And I mean, Indiana just doesn't have the firepower to be able to combat with what Milwaukee does defensively. Like you said, Jrue Holiday is likely going to be on Mathurin or maybe Buddy Hield. Probably Mathurin because he'll do more ball handling than Buddy Hield will. So you got to think who's going to do the scoring? Miles Turner's questionable, right?
Yep, questionable.
Yeah, so that's the other second, I guess the second tier scorer on the team. So without him to create chaos on the inside and be able to block shots, I don't see much resistance from the Indiana Pacers, and I don't see much scoring from them as well. And I mean, the Bucks might get a decent amount of points, but I mean, the way they're playing offensively, I just got to see it first. So I would lean to the under.
Terrell, thoughts on the total, and then if you want to lead us into player props, if you like any for this game.
Let's see here for. I'm trying to look something up for this total here. I think I'm gonna just blindly. Well, it's not really blindly, and it's pretty decent, but I'm gonna go Milwaukee team total under 121.5. And
Okay.
I'm gonna just take the Pacers element out of it. I do kind of lean towards the under, but here you look at the Pacers last couple of games. Yeah, they gave up that 130 to Memphis, but
Memphis.
you have 113 to Atlanta, 119 to the Knicks, 111 to Charlotte, 99 to Portland. Like they've been playing a lot better defensively, especially if they have Miles Turner in the lineup. I don't think he was in the lineup versus Memphis, but if they have Miles Turner in the lineup, then that's going to be a lot better for their interior defense. You know that the Bucks are going to try to score inside the paint. He's
Mhm.
going to have his hands full because he's going to have three, giants inside the paint that he's going to try to stop. But if he can slow them down, I think that that'll throw the Bucks off, especially because the Bucks haven't been that 3-point shooting team that we know them to be in years past. So I think this could be a spot where you can kind of get a little bit of an under. And maybe that if you don't like Milwaukee, that's the way that you fade Milwaukee, because there is a chance that they cover the spread and don't get to 121. I think this kind of comes closer around 110 for Milwaukee by the end of the game.
All right. Any player props for this game you like?
Yeah. And Milwaukee hasn't gotten over this number in the last 5 games either, by the way.
Yeah.
But player props for this one, if I have Miles Turner, I'm taking his blocks. Just out of he's gonna have plenty of attempts.
Yeah.
And it may be an ugly game for him, but you could look up and he could have 3-4 blocks just because everybody's coming into the paint, or he's been able to successfully defend Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis on limited possession. So I would take that. And then other than that, I'm kind of just waiting for this injury report. I'll feel better about props in this game when I know exactly who's in, who's out.
All right. Delonte, any player props for this game?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you, like just kind of waiting to see. A few props have popped up. I like Giannis over points and rebounds, 44.5. I mean, we all talked about it. It's a good bounce back spot, especially if it's no Miles Turner. Pretty much no resistance inside other than Jalen Smith,
Mhm.
and Giannis will destroy Jalen Smith. So another like parallel that I like to go with would be Brook Lopez, points and rebounds, 20.5. He's went over in 4 of the last 7. And like I said, with no Miles Turner, good matchup for him. He doesn't like to go inside, but I'm pretty sure with the matchup that he has, he'll be more reluctant to be able to get in the post and get some rebounds. So those are the only two I like for right now. I want to take Nembhard points and assists, but I got to see more from him first. I got to see him be able to orchestrate and get others involved before I take it. But it's something that I'm leaning towards Nembhard points and assists.
All right, let's get over to the next game of the afternoon. It's going to be a 3 o'clock Eastern start. It's going to be the New Orleans Pelicans in Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. Looking at the opening line for this game, the Cavaliers opened up as a 6.5 point home favorite. That number's been bet up to -7. Total opened up at 223.5. That number's been bet down to 222.5. Starting to see some 223s out there as well. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, let's start with the Pelicans here. Brandon Ingram continues to be out for the Pelicans, and Herb Jones is questionable here tonight. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, pretty clean injury report. Everybody is a go for them. Delonte, why don't you lead us off with this game? The Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the New Orleans Pelicans as a 7-point home favorite.
Yeah, I don't got much on this game, honestly. Both teams just haven't been playing well. New Orleans 4-6 ATS last 10. Cleveland 3-7 ATS last 10. The only good thing about Cleveland is they're at home, where they pretty much run people out of the building. 18-4 straight up, 14-7-1 against the spread. I think New Orleans is not really as much of a concern simply because they don't have their guys. I seen this overnight that it was Cleveland 5, and I seen that Brandon Ingram was like questionable for like game time decision, and then all of a sudden it just went back up to 7. So I'm not sure like what's going on there. I gotta look deeper into it, but I would just probably lay it with Cleveland. I don't have much conviction on it. Just I think that New Orleans is a pretty good team, and they do play well without their guys. They have been playing without them for pretty much all season. Um, I just think Cleveland defensively is just on another level than what New Orleans is used to, and without Zion and Brandon Ingram, I don't think they'll be able to muster up enough points for this to cover this number. So I would just lay it with Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland, I mean, they've been winning against teams that are below 500 or they're just not a very good team. I mean, if you kind of take a look at it, their last, 10 games, they've beat the Rockets, they beat the Wizards, and they beat the Pistons, but they've taken losses against Boston, Dallas, the Brooklyn Nets, the Sixers, the Memphis Grizzlies. So I think you nailed it that without having Zion or Brandon Ingram in this game, that pressure really falls on CJ McCollum. And then after that, it's a guess on who's going to step up for this team as far as giving that scoring support to CJ McCollum, who's been on a tear for this Pelicans team because he's had to be that guy without their two guys in Ingram and Zion. So it's a big number. I'm going to go with Cleveland, man. I like you mentioned, Delonte, they've just been a wagon at home. The spread numbers speak for themselves at home. So I'll lay the points here with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Terrell, what do you got for this game?
I don't think I'm on the same side as you guys.
Okay.
I don't think I want. I'm trying to. I want to see how they are with the large. 7 is a large number. Like I get there at home, but 7 is a large number. I know ultimately this is all going to depend if Herb Jones plays or not. If Herb Jones is out, then fine, okay, I'll go ahead and back Cleveland. But if Herb Jones is in, I like what they can do defensively. Like I like what the Pelicans can do with Herb Jones, with Jose Alvarado, with Dyson Daniels. Like those 3 guys really do make a difference when they're all on the court together defensively. They're able to slow things down a lot. And then CJ is able to CJ. Jonas should have a pretty good game because he's going to have to battle with the 7-footers on the Cavaliers for the whole time. So I think I'm on the dog here. I think I'll take the dog plus 7. But this is my best play. My best play of the game is the total.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear
Lead
me?
us into it.
Are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh yeah, no. So my best play of the game here is the total. Give me the over 222 and a half, 223, whatever if you find 222, absolutely. I don't know why I haven't been talking about this enough this season, but I was listening to another show, not to give them free publicity. I was listening to another show. They brought it to my attention. I said, oh, yeah, why have we not been targeting that? But non-conference overs are a thing. They're a thing, and they're really profitable to bettors where if you have a non-conference over, and the theory behind it and the mindset of it is these teams only play twice a year, if that. Like you may have something playing, they might not even play that much. Like, when COVID was going on, games was getting canceled, all that. So these teams really don't play that, are not that familiar with each other, not used to matching up with each other, figuring things out. Teams typically go over in that spot. I think non-conference overs are like 58% over the course of the year. And then when you dig down a little bit deeper and you have a non-conference over between this total 222 and I think he said it was like 230 or something, then the percentages of it going up skyrocket dramatically. So, and it makes sense. 2 teams that kind of hover between middle of the pack of sometimes they're over team, sometimes they're under team, get them in a non-conference spot against a team they're not familiar with. Both teams score a lot more. So I think we could see some scoring here. I like that. I love backing any type of trend that is in the 70%. I love just blindly backing it, and non-conference overs with a total between 222 and 230 and the away team making the playoffs like that is 70%. It is a pretty good trend. So I like the spot here.
Yeah. I see 21 out of the 30 teams in the association in non-conference games are above 500 to the over 52.9%, 21 of the 30 teams. But if you want to get into the 60% range, I believe it's almost about 12 teams that are trending towards the over in non-conference game. And one of those teams, the New Orleans Pelicans, 11-6 to the over in non-conference games this season at 64.7%. So that's a great nugget there, Terrell. Delonte, thoughts on the total here?
Both teams 6-4. Both teams 6-4 to the over their past 10 games. Feels like this is a good spot.
Yeah, I don't have anything strong. Just that I'm not sure if you like Cleveland, I think you gotta like the under, thinking it's gonna be a slow down pace because they play a slower pace. If you like the Pelicans, like Real does, I think you gotta like the over because they'll want to get out and run a little bit more than what Cleveland wants to do. But nothing strong. I would just lean to the under because I like Cleveland in the game.
Any player props you like in this game, Delonte?
A couple I like. One thing that I do like about New Orleans is their younger guys with all these injuries. They're getting a chance to get like some really good reps, like Trey Murphy, Najee Marshall. Those are the two guys that I like in this matchup. I like Trey Murphy over 12.5 points. It's not really a battle as far as like statistically as what he's done lately, but somewhat of matchup wise. The Cavs lack, wing depth and they lack wing defending. So he'll probably draw Karis LeVert, to a lesser extent, maybe a Darius Garland or somebody like that. And I think he'll be able to knock down a few threes. Also, Najee Marshall has been playing somewhat of that Brandon Ingram role, being able to play both sides of the ball. His points, rebounds, and assists is 24.5. He's went over in all of the last 6 games. He's shooting the ball extremely well, rebounding well. So I like him, and as I mentioned earlier with the wing depth on Cleveland, I think both of those guys are in line for a big game.
Terrell, any player props?
Yeah. I told you I'm on the over, so I'm gonna back. I think CJ still has a pretty decent game here.
Yep.
And I don't think that CJ he's a little bit of a matchup problem just because if he gets past those guards, he doesn't need to drive into the paint and go head to toe with Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, or anything like that. Like he can shoot the mid range pretty well. So I like CJ props in this game.
Okay. All right. Before we keep it moving here, let me tell our listeners where they can get down on all of these bets. That's going to be over at our presenting sponsor at WinBet. WinBet is the official online sports book of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WinBet is active in a bunch of states, and there are a ton of ways to win, including live betting and same-game parlays. The NFL playoffs are here. Great promos, odds, and payouts are happening right now at WinBet. And if you're ready to play, sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet 100, get 100. Get 100. Limited state availability. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet so they know that we sent you. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 years or older and present in state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And there's still time to get into the NBA MLK Day contest. The NBA Gambling Podcast is doing a special basketball bingo giveaway for all the games happening on MLK Day. All you have to do is subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast YouTube page and then click the sign up link exclusively in the SGPN app. So make sure to download the SGPN app and sign up exclusively for this MLK Day contest in the SGPN app. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling here. The next game on the schedule.
Wait, hold up.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hold up. Are we? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was just talking about the contest because I'm looking at my bingo card. I just got my bingo card. I'm looking at my bingo card, and I don't like my bingo card. Can I get a new one? Like, can I get a new one? Does it work like that? Can I swap my bingo card? Like, is it like the bingo? Is it like when you go to the rec center, you play the bingo down the street with your grandma, and you like, hey, hold on, let me grab another one real quick. Everybody's trying to run and grab bingo cards real quick. Because look, man, I'm just looking at a couple of these games. I'm like, now mine does say Hornets over the Celtics, so they knew that they were giving it to me. Mine does say Hornets over the Celtics up there. I don't know what the likelihood of that is actually hitting, but it does say that up there. So I'm just saying that it may be an accurate bingo card, but I think I still want to switch.
Unfortunately, I am not in charge of dishing out these. You'll have to reach out to Play Action Pools and get with them. I'm just in charge of setting it up. So that's all I can tell you there, Terrell. All right, let's get over to the next game on the schedule. Another 3:00 Eastern start. It's going to be the Toronto Raptors in the Big Apple to take on the New York Knicks. Looking at the opening lines for this game, did see the New York Knicks open up as a 3-point home favorite. That number's been bet down to -2.5. Total opened about 218.5. That number's been bet down to 218. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, clean for the New York Knicks. For the Toronto Raptors, only questionable tag is going to be Fred VanVleet. Dante, why don't you lead us off for this game? The New York Knicks as a 2.5-point home favorite hosting the Toronto Raptors.
First off, I want to say nobody has made me more money in the NBA this season than the New York Knicks. So they've been playing extremely well as of late. 6-4 ATS the last 10, 4-1 straight up in ATS the last 5. They got RJ Barrett back. He looks pretty good. I'm still waiting for him to take that next step to be that alpha and be that wing scorer that they need when Brunson is out of the game and Randall is having an off night. But I think that this is a good spot for the Knicks. They played when was this on the 6th? RJ didn't play. New York, they won and covered as 4.5-point underdogs. Randall and Brunson had a combined 58 points. They did a good job neutralizing OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. And some of the things I was reading, I don't know if you read or if you've seen some of the things that are going on in Toronto, but apparently they hate Fred VanVleet. I'm not sure why go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, CJ. I don't know if this. I mean, I just read this off a whim on one of the Twitters. I don't know if it was accurate, but he said there's something going on with the players in Toronto that that I think somebody's gonna have to get traded soon. So I guess we'll find out fairly soon who might that player be for the Toronto Raptors. But yeah, you're right. There's something's just not right with this team.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I've been fading them a lot because like when I was digging in and reading, it's just like for whatever reason I kept coming across everybody just hates Fred VanVleet. I have no idea. Like I don't know what he did or what's going on in the locker room, but apparently some of those guys don't like him. The fan base definitely doesn't like him. So he's questionable for this game or a game time decision. I would assume. So I would assume they're trying to find him some trade partners because I didn't see him. He played in the last game they played, so I'm not sure what's going on.
I gotta be curious. Now I'm gonna look up what the Raptors record is without Fred VanVleet.
But yeah, it's got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot better. I'm telling you, some of that stuff that I was reading, it wasn't good. And he's not the only guy that some of those fans were like down on. And I'm not sure why. Like they got some decent pieces. Scotty Barnes still hasn't taken the step that a lot of people thought he would take, struggling offensively, which was a knock on him when he came out of Florida State. They are 3-2 ATS the last 5. So they've been playing well as of late. They still are atrocious offensively. They can't defend. I think that has a lot to do with continuity and them actually wanting to play with each other. And with them reeling and the Knicks playing how they're playing, I think it's a perfect recipe for New York to come in and blow them out. So I like the Knicks a lot. It dropped from 3 to 2.5. Don't care. Still, I would just take it on the money line as well. So you won't have to worry about the points. Find a cheap money line. I think the Knicks blow the Raptors out today.
All right. Terrell, thoughts on your handicap for the side for the Raptors and the Knicks?
I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks blew the spot. If I play it, I'm just playing it early, playing in the first half. I'm not even considering taking the Knicks for a full game here. I wouldn't be surprised if they blew this in the second half. I'm not going to lie. Toronto's been a team that's given the Knicks trouble no matter what Knicks team, how good the Knicks have been, how bad the Knicks have been. Toronto's always been a team that's been able to give them some trouble, and I don't think this season is too different. Now, they did get a very good win in Toronto last time out, 112-108. But now you're coming back into Madison Square Garden where Pascal had 50 last time. By the way, just remember, he had 50 in that game. Unfortunately, the reasoning that I can't get all the way behind Toronto for the full game is the fact that Jalen Brunson is really good. Like, Jalen Brunson is really, really good at basketball. He was a really good addition into this New York Knicks team. I've gone on record and apologized for my Brunson takes on the earlier season, saying that this is just another big signing that the Knicks do and it doesn't really pan out. Brunson is that guy. The Knicks finally have a point guard. That is why the Knicks are playing so well, because they finally have a true point guard, somebody that can not only score the basketball on their own, but be able to dish and get everybody else going. And that's what you've been seeing in this Knicks team overall. So Knicks first half or nothing for me. Honestly, I don't want to fool with the full game. I don't trust the Knicks in the second half at home. but I will 100% back them in the first half in this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Knicks have been a cash cow in the first halves. I think, yeah, Terrell's right. Probably want to get in, get out with your money with the New York Knicks, because we've seen multiple times this season where they have squandered double-digit leads, especially in that second half. So, yeah, I would look at Knicks first half only in this game. Terrell, why don't you give us your thoughts on the total, and if you have any player props that you do like for this game?
Yeah, if I'm in the total in this one, I'll probably stay towards the under.
Okay.
And I know it's a rather low total sitting here at 218. Last matchup came in at 220 on the road in Toronto. So they've gone over both times this season. They've gone over this number. But why is the number still here? Why is the number still down? I'm kind of questioning there. And I think that it's just more of now you're getting ready to see a lot of familiarity. I don't think that this time around Pascal's going to drop 50 like he did last time in the Garden. I don't think anybody's going to necessarily get to 50. Is there going to be some good games? Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be a 50 piece. So that's going to bring the scoring down a little bit. I expect both of these defenses to be more turned on, especially the Raptors in a spot where they feel like they got to get up for this game. Like they got to start stringing wins together. And, yeah, like they sat there, lost that last one at home as a 7.5-point favorite to Atlanta. Like that was a brutal loss there. And so now it's like, all right, we got 2 wins against Charlotte. We had a pretty decent one, 3 of 5 that last home trip. One of those losses being to the Knicks. I think this is a spot where Toronto says, hey, we got to start stringing some wins together and getting out of this hole we dug ourselves in. And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that with good defense. So I'm on the over. No, I'm not over. I'm on the under here. I think the under 218 is a pretty nice bet, seeing how both of these totals went over this number, and the number's still sitting here at 218.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if Fred VanVleet's going to be in or out for this game. I might just end up on the Raptors full game if he is out for this game. So definitely keep an eye out for that, because there's a difference when Fred VanVleet is on and off the floor for this team, at least defensive rating wise. He's at a 115.1 defensive rating wise with him on the floor, and they improved to around 111.2 is what I saw without him on the floor. So obviously defense is better without him on the floor. I didn't have any player props that I do like in this game. Delonte, any player props you like in this game?
Due to the lack of size that they have inside, I like Mitchell Robinson a lot as points and rebounds props. They hadn't posted it just yet. The last time I looked, but it's usually like right around maybe like 18.5, 19 or something like that. So I like that to go over. I think they'll beat him up on the inside. Also Julius Randle rebound props. I like him as well, thinking that they don't have any resistance inside to be able to stop those guys. And the way Julius Randle has been rebounding the basketball, don't think that they'll have an answer for that. So those are the two that I like a lot. Also, just depending on how RJ's minutes are, they haven't had like any restrictions on him yet, but when I was watching him, he seems like he's trying to get back into trusting himself after coming back off that injury. I like his points, rebounds, and assists though. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it just yet, but it seems pretty low. Like it's 29.5. I think he can get 25 and 5 pretty easily. So I'm leaning there. I haven't played it yet, but I'll more than likely be on that as well.
All right, Terrell, any player props you like for this game?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Jalen Brunson, man. I don't think that anything's slowing Jalen Brunson down right now. I like Pascal Siakam. I think Pascal Siakam can get inside, especially that's the only reason that I'm concerned for Mitchell Robinson and why I personally kind of stayed off of Mitchell Robinson, not because of, the talent or the matchup. It's a really good matchup, but it's because I think Pascal Siakam is going to be aggressive, especially if no Fred VanVleet. Like I could just see Pascal Siakam being aggressive. And if I look up and Mitchell Robinson has 2 fouls in the first quarter, I'm not going to be surprised because that's how Pascal Siakam gets his buckets. He gets it inside of paint. He gets to the line. So I'm definitely concerned about that. And because of that, I'll be on Pascal Siakam in this game. I think that there is a way that, he can hit over his points prop and have a pretty decent sized game, but not drop 50 like he did last time. And come on, he had 50. Come on, Pascal. You don't just go out and drop 50. Like you definitely tapped into Jordan for a day that last time.
Yeah, Kobe taking the words right out of my mouth. Only player prop I did like for this game was Jalen Brunson over 6.5 assists. Small sample, 2 games so far this season. He's had 12 assists against the Raptors and then 8 in his last matchup where he did also have 26 points against the Raptors. So me and Colby in agreement there about Jalen Brunson over 6.5 assists in this game. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling here. The next game on the schedule, I am seeing it is going to be. Let's go to let's go to the nation's capital. Well, Golden State is going to be in town. It's going to be the Warriors versus the Washington Wizards in this matchup. I am currently seeing that the Golden State Warriors opened up as a 2.5-point favorite. The number has pretty much stayed the course at -2.5. Total opened up at 237. Currently seeing that number at 235.5. I also see some 236 out there as well. Looking at the injury report for this game, Golden State, Klay Thompson is going to be out for this game. Steph Curry is playing for the Golden State Warriors in this game. For the Washington Wizards, let me see here. For the Wizards, Bradley Beal is questionable here with a left hamstring strain. And that is pretty much it. Terrell, why don't you lead this off with the handicap for this game? Golden State coming off of the loss in their last game against the Chicago Bulls. It's going to be Steph Curry leading the show here for the Golden State Warriors as a 2.5-point road favorite. What do you like about this game?
I think that's all they need too. I mean, I do. I think Steph is all they need in this one to be able to get it going. I think this is a game that the fact that Steph is playing in this back-to-back tells me that he means business, because especially coming off of an injury not too long ago, like this is normally a spot where Steve Kerr just says, all right, we're sitting everybody. We're not worried about this one. This is, if we can get it done, we trust our young guys. We think our young guys are good. We're going to put it in the hands of our young guys, and hopefully they go out there and get it done. Steph playing in this game tells me a lot, and just saying that they mean business and they want to go out here and get a win. I see a lot of people, a lot of the money on Washington for good reasons. Warriors terrible on the road. Warriors on them back-to-back. No Klay Thompson. Like, you're going to see a depleted Warriors team, but it seems like that they are taking this game very seriously and they want to go out here and right the ship from what happened yesterday. Like, that was a game that got out of hand and they were up multiple times and they let Chicago come back and then they couldn't do anything inside against Vucevic. Vucevic had 40. I see that them trying to change that up around this game this time around, but I'm on Warriors -2.5, a little bit of a contrarian play here, seeing how majority of the money is on Washington and the Wizards on the road at back-to-back. But this spot where you have an away favorite and they just lost their previous game by a margin of more than 10 points and they're on a back-to-back, like they're a road back-to-back team, that's been very good. 75%, 3-1-1. And the only L was actually the Warriors. Warriors lost against the Pacers in this same spot. So I think this is a pretty decent spot where they're telling me as a team that they are trying to go out here and play this game and get a win. They're not just going to go out there, play anybody like 10 minutes and then sit everybody down. They're taking this game serious. They're trying to go out there and get a win and get off of this slide that they have on the road. Like, this is a mentality at this point. Like, they have a bad mentality about playing on the road right now. And I think that this is the game where they try to turn it around. So give me Warriors -2.5.
Delonte, thoughts on the side here? Warriors -2.5.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you. I think it's a great spot for the Warriors. I won't be on it. I need to see it first. I just need to see them put together something on the road because, 5-15 ATS, probably even worse as a favorite. 1-4 straight up and ATS the last 5. They've given up 120 plus points in 3 of the last 5 games. Steph coming back, it does give him a boost. He'll be out there without Klay with Jordan Poole, so we'll see how they mesh well together. And like Real said, all those with Steph playing a back-to-back, then they're trying to prove a point. They thought that they lost last night without DeRozan. I think that was the first. I read somewhere. I didn't double check this, but they said that was the first time that Chicago has beaten the Warriors since 2017 or something like that, or maybe at home. I have to get the right stat, but it's been a while since Golden State has lost to Chicago.
Yeah, it's 2017. It's the first time that Chicago has beaten the Warriors since 2017.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler was on Chicago at that time, and Zaza Pachulia was still playing for the Warriors.
Zaza. Yeah, so Yeah, I think it's gonna be it's gonna be a high paced game, a lot of points. I would like the Wizards if Bradley Beal was playing. I know he's questionable right now, but even some uncertainty behind him, I would just lean to the Warriors. One thing Golden State has for them is they do turn the ball over. Most of those are unforced. Washington doesn't do a good job of turning teams over, so if they can just take care of the ball, they should be able to put up some points. The Wizards have allowed 120 plus also in 3 of the last 5 games. They do a great job of finishing at the rim. They're first in rim percentage offense, and the Golden State Warriors are 23rd in rim percentage defense. So that's an advantage that they have. Um, I don't have a good feel for it. Like the contrarian in me wants to just take the Warriors, but I got to see it first before I play it. So just a lean right now.
Yeah, I gotta see it first from the Warriors on the road. I mean, the numbers are just so atrocious for this Warriors team on the road, and shockingly, the Wizards have actually won 4 of the last 5 matchups
Mm-hmm.
against the Golden State Warriors, dating back to last season. The only L they took was actually at home. Sorry, in Golden State in the Bay Area, where the Warriors won the game 126-112. But other than that, at home, they've been pretty good against this Warriors team. So I'll take the home dog here at +2.5. I think we briefly all touched on the total here. I think at least I'm on the over here. I mean, the numbers are overwhelming for the Golden State Warriors on the road as far as the total goes. 15-4-1 on the road to the over, 8-3, sorry, 7-1-1 as a road favorite to the over for the Golden State Warrior games. I know Klay Thompson missing, but I think this might be a game where Steph Curry has a big game for the Golden State Warriors. But Troy, you have thoughts on the total here?
Yeah, no, we talked about it earlier. Uh, non-conference games typically go over just because of the lack of familiarity between the two. Now you do have Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis, who both spent time in that Western Conference, so they're a little bit more familiar. And I think Porzingis probably can have a really good game here with just the height advantage and the ability to allow scoring on the inside that the Warriors do, especially on the road. So I think Porzingis can have a pretty solid game here today. But yeah, I'm on the over here. I think that this is a fast paced game. I think that Steph probably has one of those games where he's able to go off. I think Wiggins can get going a little bit as well. I'm not really too like it's more team defense for Washington that's kept their totals low for the most part, but I think that this is a spot where everybody just kind of gets into a rhythm, especially the Warriors. They have to find a rhythm on the road. And yeah, so I'm on Warriors. I'm on the over. I'm on Kristaps Porzingis. I'm on Steph. And maybe I'll have a play on Wiggins. I got to look into that some more.
All right. Delonte, thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I'll just go over. High paced game, a lot of possessions. The Warriors don't defend well, which is something that that's pretty much the reason why they won a lot of the championships is built on defense. I mean, of course, we all know that they have a great offense, but they really hung their hats on defense when they were in their prime and winning championships. And I think that they just got to get back to that. Now, will they? Maybe I don't know. Maybe they just need a few changes. Maybe they need the All-Star break. I'm not 100% sure. Golden State, Washington doesn't defend well at all. So I think I look for a lot of points in this game. So give me the over for it.
Yeah, as far as play prop, I agree with Terrell there on Steph Curry here. Last 5 games against the Wizards, 51, 38, 32, 18, and 47. And he's getting up the shot attempts as well. He's at least 24 shot attempts in the last 5 games against the Wizards. So I'll be looking at Steph Curry, currently seeing it at 27.5 as his points prop here tonight. Or sorry, this afternoon. He should have a big game. Terrell, you mentioned yours. Delonte, any player props you do like?
Yeah, I'll piggyback both of you guys. I like Porzingis points and rebounds. They don't have any Washington player props up. I'm not sure if they're just waiting on the
For the
Bradley.
Beal news.
Yeah, they're waiting on the Beal news. But
Yeah.
either way, I like Porzingis points and rebounds. I like Kuzma. Also, I think it's a good matchup for Kuzma. I like his points and rebounds. And like Steph, everything. Anything you can find on Steph, points, rebounds, and assists, points, threes made. I think he's in for a big night. But like I really think Real tapped into something when he said if he's playing on his back-to-back just coming off this injury,
Yeah.
then he got to be like it's got to be coming from him. I'm pretty sure Curry wanted to rest him, so he's got to be highly motivated, and he's probably going to go out and have a good night. in the nation's capital.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get over to the next game on the schedule here, guys. We have the Miami Heat in Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to be a 3:30 Eastern time start. Looking at the opening line for this game, the Miami Heat opened up as a 1-point favorite. That number has pretty much stayed the course at -1. Total opened up at 223 in this game. That number is now, it's still at 223. You see some 222.5s popping up at some of the shops. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, let's start with the most difficult one, the Miami Heat. Guys that are officially out is going to be Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and Omar Yurtseven. Questionable tag for Caleb Martin and probable for Udonis Haslem. So Tyler Hero is in, Jimmy Butler is in, Bam Adebayo. All those guys are going to be in. For the Atlanta Hawks, I did see that Clint Capella is intending to play here tonight, but it's going to be on a minutes restriction. And Trae Young is probable here today for the Atlanta Hawks. Terrell, why don't you lead us off with this game? The Miami Heat as a 1-point road favorite here in Atlanta.
Well, I mean, it's pretty simple for me. You probably should have started with somebody else. I'm not backing the Heat as a road favorite in anything. I don't care if it's by 1 point. I don't care if it's by 10 points. I'm not backing the Heat as a road favorite. I'm not backing the Heat as a favorite. Like, that's just not a good team that you want to back as a favorite. I like getting the Heat as dogs. I'm definitely not backing the Heat as a favorite, a road favorite. Not only a road favorite in Atlanta. Not only a road favorite in Atlanta, but a road favorite in Atlanta on MLK Day. In the MLK jerseys, absolutely not. I'm good on it. I'm very good on it. I truly don't care what the numbers can say. I can go through the numbers and give you all the numbers and do all this smart analytical things that people, all the, like I could do all of that and give you all the numbers of why the Heat are a bad bet in this game. But ultimately, it comes down to this. Are the Heat a favorite? Check yes, check no. If you check yes, you fade them. If you check no, you back them. Easy enough.
Easy enough. All right. I mean, took the words right out of my mouth. I'm on Atlanta here too. I'm not backing this Heat team, man. I don't care who's in, who's out. This team has just been bad here, especially against the spread on the road. So not getting an argument or pushback from me. Delonte, you're making it unanimous?
Yeah, absolutely. Love the Hawks in this spot. They are on a 2-game home losing streak. So I think that comes to an end today. Although the Heat, I'll give them credit. They have been playing well as of late, 6-3-1 ATS the last 10. They've been playing better offensively. Now, a lot of that is kind of juiced up into who they've played. They played, the 2 games, the Bucks without Giannis. So and they barely scraped away from them. They got the 40 free throw game from Jimmy Butler that he sealed the deal for OKC. So yeah, I mean, a lot of smoke and mirrors with Miami. But I think the Hawks dip will be able to get to them, and those guys are coming back. This is Tyler Hero's first game back, I'm assuming, right? This is his first game back
in a while.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. It's an Achilles injury, so I'm pretty sure they're going to want to be kind of cautious with that.
Yep.
So I think the Hawks dip will wear Miami down. Like you said, MLK Day is going to be a big day in Atlanta. Although they haven't been covering as of late 4 and 6 last 10 ATS, I do like what I've been seeing from Atlanta when Trae's actually on the court. Him and DeJounte got this chemistry between them, and it seems like DeJounte's taking it up to another level defensively as well. Love the way Onyeka has been playing in the absence of Capella. Some of those wing guys be able to wear down Bam. And I don't think Tyler Hero is going to get a lot of good looks if he even plays a lot of minutes. So I love Atlanta in this spot.
We got on the total here. Delonte, why don't you lead us off with that?
Yeah, under. I think that both teams have been playing 4 of the last 5 for both teams have been under. I think that Miami struggles to score. Atlanta, while you would think they would have a good offense, they rank bottom 10 in offensive efficiency and offensive rating. I just don't think that they'll be able to score enough. And while their offense has fell off, their defense has ratcheted up. They've they're top 10 in effective field goal percentage defense. They're getting out, they're turning teams over, and when they turn teams over, they like to get in transition. They like to shoot those threes in transition. It's one of the best shots in basketball. So I would lean to I'll be on the under for sure.
Yeah, I like the under this game here as well. Kind of take a look at just the numbers as well. For especially Miami on the road. As far as the total goes, they're 12-8 to the under, 8-2 to the under as road favorites. I know they're a very slight road favorite here, but I think this will be more of a defensive matchup between these two teams here. Terrell, thoughts on the total here, and if you want to lead us into player props that you do like.
Was you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry.
My fault.
Thought. Yeah, no, you're good. Total for this game, and then any player props for the Hawks and Heat.
Yeah, no, I slightly into the under. Not really what I'm looking to bet in this game, but slightly into the under. I think I'm just on the Hawks. I'll be on the Hawks early in this game. I'll be on the Hawks towards the end of the game. But I'll give I like the plays y'all have for the under, and player prop wise, just give me Trey Young. Like Trey Young on MLK Day against the Heat, against a division rival. I think that this is going to be fireworks, and I think he's going to be one of the reasons I like Trey for his assists, I like Trey's points and assists. Yeah, I'm all over Trey Young today.
One player prop I did like in this game is John Collins over 12.5 points. 7 straight games against the Miami Heat, he's had 13 or more points. Whether it's matchup reason, whether he's able to knock down those corner 3-point shots or jump shots or finish it around the basket, he's been able to have a success against this Miami Heat interior defense. So I'll take and then the last game back in November against Miami, I'm sorry, he had 23 points and 14 rebounds. So I think there's something there with John Collins getting up against the Miami Heat. Delonte, player props in this game?
Yeah, I'm with you on Trey. I like DeJounte points, rebounds, and assists. Like I said, I like how he's been more involved in the offense. I like. I mean, it's not out yet, but Onyeka points and rebounds. I know Capella's coming back, but like you said, he'll be on a minutes restriction, so Onyeka's going to get a lot of those minutes. And with John Collins being able to neutralize Bam and be able to guard him from the free throw line extended, I think that frees up some inside presence for Onyeka to get some points and clean the glass up a little bit. So those are the few that I do like in this matchup.
All right, let's get over to the next game on the schedule. It's going to be a 4:00 Eastern start. It's going to be the Utah Jazz in Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Looking at the opening line for this game, I'm currently seeing the Minnesota Timberwolves open up as a 2.5-point favorite. That number is pretty much at -2 across the board. Total open up at 234.5. That number is at 234. Do see some 234.5s out there as well. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, start here with the road team, the Utah Jazz. Rudy Gay is questionable here tonight. Lauri Markkanen is also questionable here. He has a left hip contusion. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert are both questionable as well, along with Taurean Prince. He's questionable as well. So a lot of questionable tags in this game between the Jazz and the Timberwolves. Delonte, why don't you lead us off here with this game between the Utah Jazz and the Minnesota Timberwolves, with the Wolves as a 2-point home favorite?
Yeah, nothing strong, but I would lean to Minnesota laying the short number. Thinking that Lauri doesn't play. The stuff that I was reading this morning is leaning towards Lauri not being able to play, and I don't think Utah is the same without him. Although Minnesota, they've been playing well lately. 6-4 ATS the last 5. Hey, look, they're on a 5-game home winning streak, man. Hey, listen, they've been playing well lately, man. Listen, hey, that's the numbers. They don't lie. They there.
Oh, you want to talk numbers? Because we can talk numbers.
No, not. I'm talking about these short span numbers. 10 games.
Oh, I was about to say we can talk numbers. We can talk numbers.
No, we talking.
I got numbers.
We talking as of late. We're talking as of late, not as a whole. As of late, they have been playing well though. And I mean Utah without Lauri, I don't think that they're as explosive as they can be. He didn't play in the last matchup in the Wolves. They won pretty convincingly, 118-108. They did shoot 50% from the field and 40% from 3, which is likely not to happen again. And it's unlikely that the Jazz will go 13 or 44 from 3. But yeah, it's not strong. I lean to Minnesota being able to just cover a small number at home. They just, I mean, it's always something with Minnesota. It's just I don't trust them enough to put my full endorsement on it. So it's just a lean.
Terrell is highly disappointed in you right now. He just has a look of
Hey
disappointment
man,
on his face right
I
now.
understand. I didn't put my money on it. I ain't put my money on it. I'm just saying that's where I'm leaning towards.
Terrell, we already know you're on the Jazz here catching the points, but go if you want to throw the stats out there, the numbers out there, go ahead.
I mean, the new number is 19-7 as a dog. That's the new number, 19-7 as a dog. I'll just leave it at that. That 19-7 as a dog.
All right.
So,
Let's get to the total.
I don't know what else the people want. I don't know what else anybody. 19-7 as a dog. Like, okay. It doesn't matter. It makes no. I'm not concerned. I'm riding Utah until the wheels fall off. We are up a million cajillion units with Utah. 19-7 as a dog. And Laurie probably plays. Like, I think Laurie plays.
Take us to the total, Terrell. Currently sitting at 234.5.
I don't trust Utah defensively, but I really don't trust Minnesota offensively and what they're able to do. It really just kind of depends. I think the total is a wait and see, and I'll just more of wait and see who's out. If Rudy Gobert is out, I'll probably lean more towards an over. But if he plays, of course, I'm probably going to come down on an under here. But not really too particular on the total on this one.
Delonte, thoughts on the total, if any?
Yeah, just I would lean to the over. Both teams playing to the over lately. 3 of the last 5 for both have went over. Minnesota is 8th in fast break points per game, so they'll be looking to get out and run. I would not play it if Laurie's out, but if he's in, I would definitely be on it. But if he's out, I just pass.
All right. Yeah, I don't have much thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of questionable tags here for both these teams, but yeah, if Laurie's in, I'm all over probably the Utah Jazz team total. I mean, these guys can score at will, especially with Laurie and JC and Malik Beasley. They can be a scoring machine. So I'll lean with the Jazz team total over if Laurie is in. I didn't have any player props for this game. Delonte, you have anything?
I don't have anything at all. It's just so much uncertainty between both teams. I don't have anything at all.
Terrell, any player props?
Yeah, I feel comfortable with Jordan Clarkson today. Give me a Jordan Clarkson over his points prop. And let me see here. Especially if Laurie ends up not playing, I think that his usage just goes up. And depending on status of Rudy Gobert, I'll be on Walker Kessler as well, for Walker Kessler to have a pretty solid game, double-double type of game for Walker Kessler. I may like him even if Rudy Gobert is in, because he's going to be forced to play a bunch of minutes trying to match up with Rudy Gobert. He's not going to have to worry about getting outside of the paint because, Rudy Gobert never steps outside the paint. So I think that Walker Kessler actually has a pretty good opportunity of just matchup alone, in the fact that if Rudy Gobert plays, he's probably going to play a bunch of minutes with him. Mm-hmm. But if he's out, then he's got an easier path to getting a bunch of rebounds. So I like Walker Kessler today.
All right. 2 games left on the schedule here, gentlemen. Let's go through them here. We got the Phoenix Suns in Memphis to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. This is going to be a 6 o'clock Eastern start. Looking at the opening line for this game, I'm currently seeing that the Memphis Grizzlies opened up as a 10-point favorite. The number's been bet up to 10.5. Total opened up at 225.5. That number's been bet up to 228.5. Starting to see some 229s pop up as well. Looking at the injury report for the Phoenix Suns, the usual suspects are all out. Devin Booker, Cam Johnson, Chris Paul, Cameron Payne, all out here tonight. Landry Shamet is questionable for the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant is officially questionable, and John Conchar is questionable here tonight as well with a non-COVID related illness. Terrell, why don't you lead us off here? Memphis Grizzlies hosting the Phoenix Suns as a 10.5-point home favorite.
Okay, so DeAndre Ayton may look like the greatest center. Like, there's a possibility that DeAndre Ayton comes out here and looks like the greatest center ever tonight. Like, there is a huge possibility that he does this. And it's because this is the first game that Ayton is playing where he is eligible for trade. Like,
There
you
go.
remember when we talked about the season, and we said that, you know, he got to wait till January to trade him. Now he's eligible. I'm just no handicap, pure no handicap. Didn't look at the numbers. Don't know what he does against Memphis. Don't know what he does against Steven Adams. Don't know anything. Didn't know nothing. Pure gut play is that a player that has been looking to get traded for an incredible amount of time, the first game that he's eligible for trade, yeah, of course, I'm going DeAndre. So I just, it would be the biggest fu to Suns fans. As soon as he gets traded, he just has this crazy game, and he's trying to get the looks on the market. Be like, hey, see what I just did? Like, hey, come get me! Like, get me up out of here. To actual handicapping this game, I'm not taking the Suns. I'm not trusting the Suns. I don't think the Suns are prepared. My really only concern is Memphis going to look past this team, and that's really what I'm kind of concerned of. And so Memphis looking past them with the aid of DeAndre Ayton probably having a really good game. Like, if I play that DeAndre Ayton prop, I'm probably going to play the Suns with it, just because I gotta assume that if DeAndre Ayton has a crazy game, that they're in this game at least making it close. But in all actuality, and what my gut is telling me, it just tells me that this is a route by Memphis. But Memphis has struggled with the large number recently, and they haven't been able to cover a large number, especially against the Western Conference teams. So that's going to be an issue for them that they're going to have to get over. They didn't cover the number either game against San Antonio. You remember them definitely not getting this number early on. So yeah, Kobe just said, "Do you like Memphis early?" Yeah, I like Memphis early. I think that's a pretty good play.
Took my handicap, man. Come on, Kobe.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not running to bet Memphis -10, -10 and a half in this game. Definitely not. If I'm playing anything, I'm playing some type of same game parlay that somehow gets the Suns a cover or something like that, because I think that has more value in it than me just saying that Memphis is going to take the Suns serious for 4 quarters, which I don't think they are.
Delonte, go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. Well, you might not be running real, but I am sprinting to take the Memphis Grizzlies, man. But this is an incredible spot for them. I don't know if you remember, but the last game, Phoenix, they won and covered at 7.5 point underdogs when Dwayne Washington had a career high 26. The Suns had 8 people in double figures. They shot 49 from the field, 55 from 3. That definitely is not happening again. Memphis was only 8 for 30 from 3. They only had 2 in double figures. Ja had 34, and he didn't even play well. He was 8 for 22, 15 to 16 from the line. In this spot, I think it's a great spot for Memphis to come out and flex the muscles and be able to get a good lead early and often. So I like the first quarter, especially. I like the full game. They're on a 5-game home winning streak. While Ayton is there, he won't be able to match what the physicality that Memphis has inside. They lead the NBA in rebounds per game with 49.1. They're 6-3 ATS the last 10. They are 13-7-1 at home. They've scored 130 plus in back-to-back games, 120 plus in 3 of those 5 games. First in defensive rating. Man, I just don't see any path to success for Phoenix, especially in a bounce back spot. Not a bounce back spot, but in a little quote unquote revenge spot for Memphis. They're playing extremely well. I would have Memphis as a top 3 team in the NBA right now, or top 2 team. Them and Boston, I think, are pretty much the 1 and 2 right now in the NBA. That's how well they've been playing. So give me Memphis early, first quarter, like Kobe said, and give me Memphis full game minus the points.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's Memphis early and often. I mean, the guys that the Phoenix Suns are, this lineup that they're trotting out there, it's they got up against Golden State, but after that, they just got their doors blown off against the Denver Nuggets. And then I think it's an opportunity where, we talked about how Memphis hasn't been very good against Western Conference opponents, but I think it's an opportunity for them on MLK Day to flex their muscles a little bit against a Phoenix Suns team that is missing pretty much their top guys outside of DeAndre Ayton. So I like Memphis here with you as well, early and often. Delonte, any player props you guys are looking at in this game here? Terrell, I'll start with you.
I mean, I talked about it. I'm on DeAndre Ayton today.
Yep.
I think that, it's just it's a good spot because he's probably the only person that you can probably trust offensively out of
Yeah.
everybody that's starting just consistently is DeAndre Ayton. And there's a good possibility that they, feed it to the big man down low, going up against Steven Adams, going up against Triple J. He's gonna have a tough matchup with Triple J, but if he can kind of duck that smoke with him and get to Steven Adams, then I think that he has opportunity to go out there and score. So it's just more of a narrative. And the narrative is that DeAndre Ayton wants to get traded. He wants to get up out of there. Now he's eligible for trade. He needs teams to start looking at him. And what's the best way to get their attention? Go drop 30 and 10. That's how you'll get somebody attention.
Yeah. That makes complete sense. Delonte, any player props you like in this game?
I like Desmond Bane a lot. Excuse me. I think he's gonna shoot the ball well. He's probably he's not gonna be able to draw Mikal Bridges as much, but Mikal Bridges will probably be on Ja for the majority of the game. So I like Desmond Bane over threes made 2.5, and I like him over his points. It should be like 20 or 20 and a half. Either you can find a 20, you can find a 19 and a half or 20 and a half. I would just go with the 19 and a half and play it over.
All right. Let's get to the last game of the night, gentlemen. It's going to be the Houston Rockets in LA to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Looking at the opening lines for this game, I did see the Lakers opened up as a 6.5 point favorite. That number is now at -5.5. Do see some -6 out there as well. No injury report for both of these teams because they are on a back-to-back here. The Rockets played the Clippers yesterday, got their doors blown off. They did not have Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate in that game. They were serving a 1-game suspension after the small scuffle against Sacramento. They came off the bench. Last night we talked about the Lakers taking the L against the Philadelphia 76ers in that game. So they're at a home and home back-to-back here. Just keep an eye on the injury reports here. But let's start with the side here. Delonte, why don't you lead us off? Let's call it -5.5 for the Lakers hosting the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, I would lay it as long as everybody's not everybody. As long as LeBron's playing, I'll lay it with the Lakers. They should have won last night. Dumb coaching by Darvin Ham. Russell Westbrook has the ball. I don't know if you guys seen it. He had the ball. Like, just give the ball to LeBron. You had plenty of time. LeBron's on the wing, just like waiting to get the ball. And even when Russell Westbrook is clearly fumbling with the ball, Darvin Ham, right in front of Darvin Ham, he just is still looking at him, not calling the timeout. And I seen that Darvin Ham said he would definitely do that again. Like, he would, if he had to do it over, he would play it the same exact way. And that's why he should be fired for saying, like, that's idiotic. Like, LeBron James is on the court and he's pretty much getting whatever he wants or getting other players whatever he wants. And you don't want the ball in LeBron's hands. Like, that's idiotic. But I mean, I'm saying all that to say I'm taking him against the Rockets. The Rockets are poor inside, which is where the Lakers dominate. The Lakers dominate in transition. Rockets, they like to run as well with those young guys. So Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate going to be a little bit fresher for this game. I think that's going to entice them to want to run, and that's what the Lakers want to do. They want to get in, they want to run, they want to pound the ball inside. I have no idea why Darvin Ham's not playing Thomas Bryant as much lately. I don't know if he did something or not practicing.
Pause.
Say it again.
Are you good? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So yeah, man, I just don't think that the Rockets will be able to handle what the Lakers are going to do to them inside.
Terrell, what do you got for this game? Rockets versus Lakers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lakers reluctantly just because the Rockets suck. And no matter how good the Rockets look at any portion during the game, they're going to blow the game in the fourth quarter and make sure that they are submitted in that win beyond a sweepstakes. So I would love to be able to come in here and back the Rockets against the Lakers because the Lakers suck, but the Rockets suck too, and they're really, really bad. So Jake said it's Green 26.5 because his bingo card needs it. Is that on my bingo card? I hope it is because I do like Jalen Green today. He's coming off a day off rest where, he was really suspended because he came off the bench for a fight. So I expect Jalen Green to come in here and have a really good game. I think that Kenyon Martin Jr. can still come in here and have a pretty good game, even with Jalen Green back in the lineup. Just because if Patrick Beverly does play, I expect for Beverly to be attached to Green a lot more. You'll see Kenyon Martin Jr. have the opportunity to go in there, score, get easy buckets, and really take over that role that Kevin Porter Jr. was scoring for this team. Because I'm fairly certain we're not going to see him in this game. If I play Lakers, I'm playing the Lakers early. I'm playing them in the first half, and that's about it for me.
Yeah, it's Jalen Green props for me as well. I don't anticipate Kevin Porter Jr. going, but in the one game that they didn't have Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green was just playing a lot better. He was able to, free flow, knock down some 3-point shots, get to the basket as well. He had the ball in his hand, so he's really dominant. So I do like Jalen Green player props here. As far as the sides, you guys nailed it. I mean, this Rockets team, they're competitive in the first half. And then the second half, they just give it up, do the Rockets, where they're trying, like Terrell pretty much said, cementing themselves as having the top 3 worst record in the association this season to be in those sweepstakes. So if you want to bet the Rockets, take them early in the first half. But as a Rockets fan, I'm telling you, do not bet your hard-earned money on this Rockets team right now. Delonte, anything else for this game as far as the total or player props? Oh, you're on mute.
I would lean to the over. It's gotten out of hand. I think it's rose up like 4 or 5 points. But I would just lean to the over. Player prop wise, like Kobe mentioned, Thomas Bryant double. As long as he gets the minutes and is able, when he gets the minutes, he's contributing. But it's no reason why Troy Brown and Wenyen Gabriel should be playing more minutes than him when he's actually dominating on both sides of the ball. Like, I don't get it, but that's a good play for me. And I'm with you with Jalen Green as well. I think he's well rested. He's going to come out. The Lakers don't have any wing defenders other than a washed up Patrick Beverly. So I'm with you on that as well.
Terrell, anything else for this game as far as total and or any more player props?
No, I'm good. I mean, not really looking at total at all. If I did, it's probably just going to be a blind over, but yeah.
All right, let's get into our lock and dog to close out the show here. Delonte, why don't you lead us off with your lock and dog for this MLK Day NBA schedule?
Yeah, so let's just I'll make a caveat. My lock is going to be Milwaukee minus are they 9.5
now? They are currently, let me try to pull it up.
Still 9.5.
Yeah, so I'll let it 9.5. As long as Giannis is playing, we can put that on the official record as my lock. If he doesn't play, I'll pivot to another pretty much same spread favorite, which is Memphis minus 9.5. So we went through it all about 30 minutes ago as far as the breakdown. As far as my dog, like Atlanta, short home dog. We went over. It's going to be a great spot for them. MLK Day. Trey's going to come out and play well. Miami, some of those guys getting back in the lineup could deter some of the chemistry that they had as of late. So give me Atlanta plus 1.5 as the dog.
All right. So I'm going to go with Memphis minus 6.5 as my lock for here tonight. I think they come out early and often just take care of business against this Phoenix Suns team. Like we mentioned,
6.5.
Yeah, first half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, first half. 6.5 for the Memphis Grizzlies. Like we mentioned, they're missing all their key guys with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne. I know Ayton is playing here tonight, but I just think that this will be too much for the Phoenix Suns to handle. So first half, minus 6.5 for the Memphis Grizzlies. For my dog, I will pivot over to a player prop we talked about in the Boston game. Marcus Smart, double-double. That's currently sitting at plus 260. 2 games against the Charlotte Hornets this season. He's at a double-double in 4 games without Jaylen Brown in the lineup this season. All 4 games, he's at a double-double. Expect him to rack up the assists and get over the points mark as well. So I like that at plus 260. Maybe try to build it as a same game parlay. You might be able to get better odds on that if your book lets you offers that. But officially right now, I'm currently seeing Marcus Smart double-double at plus 260 as my dog. Terrell, closes out strong, my man.
All right. Let's see here. For my lock, I have a lot of stuff that I want to choose from. I'm trying to figure out how I want to play it. We'll go with the over in the Pelicans and Cavaliers game, over 222.5. But that's bad juju. I never pick a total for my lock. I rarely do. That's bad juju. I shouldn't do that. I really like that play. I'm gonna go Warriors minus 2.5. I normally pick sides. All right, Warriors minus 2.5. That's my lock. For my dog, Atlanta's a system play. Not gonna give that out. Utah's a system play. Not gonna give that out. Let's go with. When in doubt, just fade Boston. Give me Charlotte plus 280.
All right. All right. So recap Bears pick Delonte. You are taking the Bucks if Giannis is in, correct?
Yep, and Memphis if he's out.
Okay, and then you're taking the
Hawks
as
for
your
my
dog.
dog. Yep.
Okay, and then for myself, I have Memphis first half minus 6.5 for my dog. Marcus Smart double, and then for Terrell, you're taking the Golden State Warriors minus 2.5 against the Wizards, and then for his dog, fading the good old Boston Celtics, taking the Charlotte Hornets plus 280 on the money line. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast here on the MLK Day Games. Hopefully, you guys are able to get to this sooner rather than later with the game starting. But again, if you're getting to the pod, if you missed the early games, you can always go back on YouTube and watch the handicap that we did give out if you missed the early games. Terrell, anything else we need to mention before we get out of here?
No, I'm good. Everybody have a great day.
Delonte, anything else?
Happy MLK Day and go Giants.
There we go. Go Giants. All right. Make sure to follow Terrell on Twitter at reallyreal __ follow Delonte on Twitter at xxlanteXX. Follow me on Twitter at sportsnerd824. Again, there is still time to get into the MLK bingo contest. Just make sure to head over to the SGPN app. Get into that contest tab. All you gotta do is subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast YouTube channel, and then get into the contest over on the app. All right, we'll be back tomorrow for the NBA Gambling Podcast. Till then, good luck with your picks. Let's break these books off and let it ride.